the press at large isn't talking about Joe Biden, but we are. We'd like to find out more about what his relationship was in Ukraine, how his son was making all of that money, and what Vice President Biden knew when he ended up pressuring that country to fire the prosecutor who had some responsibility over investigating Hunter Biden's company, Burisma Holdings. You are pursuing a number of lawsuits to get some answers on this question. What are you up to?
Well, we filed a lawsuit on just last week for documents on the decision to fire Shokin. What was involved in that? We sued the State Department. We'd asked for the documents back in May, back when this story started percolating. We issued a series of FOIA requests, virtually none of which have been responded to substantively. So we began with the basic lawsuit of tell us about this firing that critics of Biden alleged, because based on Biden's own statements, that he did to at the pressure or using the pressure of withholding $1 billion of aid.
Yes.
Give us the details on it. So the State Department, maybe after they're done leaking conversations they had with the president has had with foreign leaders, maybe the deep state can turn over the documents about the core corruption issue. At the heart of this discussion is whether Biden abused his office to protect his son.
Now, you filed the FOIA request after that video became public of Biden claiming that he had Shokin fired. So that was before all of this came out now about the phone call from the president on July 25th. Is that right? So you filed this before?
Yes, exactly right. And the timing isn't about the phone call. It's these stories began building in May of this year, more or less. But it's been out there for several years, the Biden's conflicts of interest because of his son's business activities abroad. But the stories began building this year, and Rudy Giuliani made a point, as he said, of running on this and pushing on information on this, because he ran into this issue investigating Russiagate and the illegal spying on President Trump. He ran into the Biden issue. So they see this coming, and sure enough, they compile raw intelligence data, it looks like, illegally leak it, but call it a whistleblower complaint in order to help shut down this new facet of the investigation into the collusion and conspiracy with Ukraine, Russia to target Trump and protect themselves.
I want to go back to the FOIA request, because it seems like every time we have you in here, because you filed FOIA requests, and Judicial Watch then has to sue in order to actually get the information because your FOIA requests are not honored. Who is giving you the most problems when it comes to this? Is there a specific branch of the government, a specific department that you know you're going to be stonewalled and you're not going to get what you want?
Well, the State Department's been terrible in recent years because the Clinton email scandal essentially upended the Freedom of Information Act process. The government went into cover-up mode and refused to accommodate any requesters. But at the end of the day, I hate that phrase, but it's appropriate here, it's the Justice Department. Because the Justice Department defends all the agencies, puts their legal positions and creates their legal positions in court. And so when we're in court asking for documents, it's the Justice Department defending the lawlessness of the various agencies, including themselves, in not complying with the law. And if you had let's say you were breaking the law at a time, and you went to your attorney and said, "Oh, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it in court." That's an attorney that isn't going to solve the problem of you breaking the law. The Justice Department is supposed to represent the administration's legal position. And the legal position of the administration is, who cares if the law isn't following on the secrecy and transparency? And it results in this criminal conspiracy against the President of the United States, because this lack of transparency has led to this feeling of invincibility by the deep state, that they can do whatever they want and no one's going to call them on it because they won't see what they've been doing.
And this is a legacy from the Obama administration where it was even worse. I still have outstanding FOIA requests from the Obama years that have not been responded to yet. I think that's a little outside the 30 days they have to get back. Let me tell you, you were talking about Joe Biden and what he did or didn't know about his son's business activities. Now, he has claimed, quote, "I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings. I know Trump deserves to be investigated. He's violating every basic norm of a president. You should be asking him why he's on the phone with a foreign leader trying to intimidate a foreign leader. You should be looking at Trump, Joe Biden says to the press. But this idea that he doesn't know anything about his son's overseas business dealings. Fox News last night, Tucker Carlson, publishing a photo from 2014 showing Joe and Hunter Biden golfing with the executives from Burisma Holdings in the Hamptons. Now, Tom, I don't know how much you golf, but when you do that, it takes a couple hours. And what kind of things might come up if you were golfing with the executives from Burisma Holdings?
Only their grandkids and yoga, right? And of course, Biden's own son contradicts him, because if you read this New Yorker article, which everyone should, on Hunter Biden that was published about a month or two ago, Hunter Biden confirms that his father said, I hope you know what you're doing with this business dealings you're involved in. He said, don't worry, Dad, I got it covered. So in the least, you've got that discussion about his business,
right?
In the sense that Joe Biden was worried about it.
Yes, yeah. And he wasn't the only one. There were people in the Obama administration who were worried as well. Biden pushed ahead anyway.
Well, if you read the New York Times and the Washington Post over the last several years of the Obama administration and other mainstream publications like Politico, you'd see that was a repeated issue.
Yes.
And but now that's supposed to go into the memory hole as part of the coup effort to get President Trump.